is going on? It is your boy Sheiv the Wise, and welcome back to Vader's Lair. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Bad Batch Eve. To answer the question from Mandalorian Martin in the chat, when does season 3 release? It releases tonight at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Let's get it going. Let's get the hype flowing through you. Do it. Welcome back into Vader's Lair, one and all. I hope you're all doing well as the chat blows up onto the screen. It's time to hang out with our favorite bunch of clones, or some of our favorite bunch of clones. Clone Force 99 for the final time and the final season in season 3, starting tonight at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, 3 o'clock for those of you guys on the East Coast, and I'm so sorry. And I was talking about it with my boy earlier today, my boy Tim. I was like, they keep doing us dirty with these animated shows, fam. They really do. Like they released Echo earlier in the day. Like no hate to Echo either. I haven't seen it yet, and I've heard it's pretty good actually. So no hate to Echo at all when I say that, but like all the live action stuff right now is getting released at like, you know, a decent hour for most of us. Maybe if you're in Europe, maybe not. But all of us over here in the States are like, the hell, man. You're throwing us all around with these, and it's, you know, giving us the normal 12 o'clock release date just for the animated stuff. But then you get Loki, Ahsoka, Echo, all these live action shows at a decent hour, and it's like, can we just stick to one or the other? Like, I don't even like the midnight releases all that much, if I'm being honest. But like, why for the animated shows? Anyway, that's my little rant on that. But I am hyped to be talking about the Bad Batch with you guys today. Season 3 begins with the 3-episode premiere tonight, and your boy is excited. I know you guys are in the chat too. And for those of us that have been longtime animated Star Wars fans, we know that these animated shows end with a bang a lot of the time. And usually they're very depressing. The final season is super sad usually. And I'm so scared. I'm worried about my boys. I'm worried about the Batch. I'm worried about Echo in particular, because they keep putting like pictures of him hugging Omega up and different things from last season, and it's like, I know that that's just a part of the show, and that was part of last season and everything, but like, Echo's in like one scene in the entire trailer, dude, and I'm worried. I'm worried about my boys, though. I'm worried about the entire batch. I'm scared that some of them, if not all of them, might not make it out of this season alive. Yeah, the batch does make me cry. I feel you, Mike Porter. I feel it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be a real sad season. But how y'all feeling before the finale starts tonight? If you got any theories or speculation you want to throw into the chat, make sure to do it. And I hope you're all doing well, man. It's good to see you all in the chat. Much love to everybody in the Star Wars community. I hope you're having a fantastic Bad Batch Eve. Let's get this thing going, man. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. Tim, my boy, good to see you. Timothy. Darth Lance, good to see you, brother. I'm very happy to see you in the chat, my man. And I'm very happy that the two of us are here and kicking it and still kicking ass in life. Mandalorian Martin, good to see you too. The Sabersmith, welcome in. Let's go. The hype is real. Good to see you, Sabersmith. Chill manga, my dude. Hunter. Yes, I'm worried about Hunter as well. And Omega. I gotta say, Omega is the one character I don't think is probably gonna die in this season. But I don't know. They were even like sending out, like, D. Bradley Baker had this picture of like an Omega bag or like box of tissues, and I think we might need some, man. I'm worried. Like I said, I'm real worried about it. Can't believe I have to stay up till 3:30 tonight. So small, dude. Can't believe I have to. Well, I mean, really, it's a 3-episode premiere, my dude. So, and who knows how long each of the episodes are? I know I know they're probably going to be like 20, 25 minutes. You know, usually that's what we get with the Bad Batch and animated shows and anime, and a lot of animated stuff is like that 20 to 30 minute range, right? So maybe it'll be like an hour and a half of content tonight, which is going to be a lot. It's going to be an hour and a half from 3:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That's like 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the morning, dude. You're going to be up all night. If you're watching all the episodes, you're going to be up all night. We still can't donate, says T-Man Does Games. Yeah, so we are not monetized yet. I will try to work on that before tonight. I definitely think I'm going to try to work on that. I have some stuff I have to work on, but your boy has been taking things day by day and trying to heal up as much as I can, so that, you know, I'm feeling like I'm a member of the Bad Batch myself. So, you know, I'm definitely going to try to work on that, though. Thank you for the reminder. And if you guys do want to donate, there is a GoFundMe link in the chat that kind of just helps with this whole situation. And then there's also a Streamlabs website, I believe, I think a Streamlabs website for Vader's Lair that I can put into the link, or put in. It should be in the description as well. But I can put that into the chat, and you guys can donate or send in, like, you know, super chats through there. Otherwise, I appreciate you even considering it, and thank you all for being here. For real, for real. Pulling a stick, man. What up, my dude? Oh, yeah, dude. I'm definitely scared for Echo. I got that same little emoji on my face right now. Like, please protect my boy. RF Gaming Channel. Good to see you in the chat. He says, if they don't make it, that's gonna, that's gonna wrecker me. Oh, no. It's gonna wrecker all of us, my dude. It's gonna hit right in the feels, and, oh, man. I got a feeling this is going to be very much similar to what we saw at the end of the Clone Wars in Season 7 with an ending more like that than what we got with sort of the more, I guess you could say, positive ending with Rebels, where, like, there's hope to finding Ezra again, and, yeah, Kanan died, and it was real depressing, and it was, you know, the Empire definitely was kicking butt still, but at the end of the day, in the epilogue, we still got that positive upbeat of, like, yeah, the Empire lost. I don't think we're getting that in this show. I'm real worried. You know, at the end of the day, the only clones that we see in Star Wars Rebels post this show are really Gregor, my boy Wolf, which, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out this season, knowing that Wolf is going to, you know, eventually hopefully be rescued by his boys and still gonna have some stuff going on with the chip and all that. But, you know, Rex as well. So the three of them seem like they're the for sure survivors of this show, but then it's like from there, who knows, man. You know, anybody's fair game. All the clones might be, I don't even know. I'm a little record even thinking about it. Hey, Brandon Alvarado, good to see you in the chat. I'm doing good. I'm doing solid, man. All things considered, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking about some Bad Batch, and I'm ready for tonight's episodes. You already know. I'm doing well, though. Wrecker can't survive because he can't be casted in live action in the future. I mean, what about other animated projects, my dude? I mean, come on. Don't count my boy out. Don't do that to me. Chillmonger, you're crushing my heart, but I know you're right, says Sabersmith. No, come on, Wrecker can make it. I feel like they've been teasing Wrecker, sort of Wrecker, but definitely Hunter's death since like season 1. And if you've been a long time fan of the Lair and, you know, of Star Wars and everything, we started the channel back in season 1 of the Bad Batch, which is part of why the Bad Batch is just so meaningful to me and to the channel in general. I truly have fallen in love with this show and with all the animated Star Wars projects for the most part. And yeah, man, this show has a special place in my heart, and these dudes are, I'm scared for what might happen to them. And Hunter back in season 1, it's just, there's so many times that they're like almost teasing that this dude's gonna die, like that, you know, the father-daughter bond between him and Omega, really, and like just family bond that all of them have created. It's like, you know, having that with Hunter and seeing him get shot by Cad Bane at some point early on in the show, and then getting, you know, falling from like super high heights, and Wrecker being scared of heights. It's like they're totally teasing their deaths. Like, please don't do this to me. Yeah, I'm definitely on the mend. I'm trying to do a little bit better each day. You know, you got to work with what you got. Smalls, my dude, good to see you in the chat. It's 2 a.m. when they drop, plus have to wait till we finish talking. Yeah, so it'll be probably a little past 3:30 for you, and I apologize, my friend. And for the East Coasters, you guys literally almost 5 o'clock in the morning if you're staying up the entire night. Brandon Alvarado says, I think we'll get an epilogue with Omega at the end of the series. I like that. I like that a lot. I definitely think that might happen. I would love that, man. I think Omega is for sure a character that they could bring into live action at some point. Obviously, one of the main characters, if not the main character of the Bad Batch show, having her being brought back into it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second, about some of the stuff with Season 3, the final thoughts from the executive producers, Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett, whom I absolutely adore. I love the two of them and what they've done with this show. And it'll be fun to kind of dive into some of their thoughts before starting tonight's episodes. Saber Smith says, Star Wars put up a clip today, but I don't want to watch it. I want to go in blind. Yeah, I was thinking about putting it up. I was watching a little bit of it, not really too much. I barely caught like 10 seconds, and I kind of had the same thought as you. I was like, maybe I should put this up on the stream, and I'm like, no, we must go in blind. And I just kind of like threw my phone across the room and was like, no, I can't do it. Don't do it. Pulling a stick man says, also that one clone that got taken away with green armor stood against the Empire. I forgot his name. You're talking about now I can't remember his name. Hauser. So back in season 1, Hauser, definitely in the little Hera arc, right? Back on Ryloth. He kind of stood up against the Empire and was, standing up for the clones, and a lot of other clones joined him. Looks like he might be back in season 3. Crossing my fingers. We've all been wondering, what the heck happened to Hauser? Where's my boy Cody? I hope we get our answers, because I would love to see some more of Cody this season. He was absolutely awesome seeing him in the one episode he was in season 2, and knowing that he kind of fled from the Empire, and like Gregor and a lot of the other clones had at that point. Just, it's exciting to see what might have happened to my boy Cody, and definitely what happened to all of our boy Hauser. We all love Hauser, man. I hope we see him, because I think we do in the trailer, and I'm hoping we see him either in tonight's episodes or hopefully by the mid-season, if not the end of the season. Caleb Richardson, real quick, says, I'm so excited for Season 3. Might have to rewatch Season 2. I kind of fell off with the more episodic episodes of Season 2, but I'm hyped and hopeful that Season 3 will get back to Season 1 quality throughout. So, I gotta, back to Season 2, like, dude, there's some real, like, world building moments in Season 2, and some of the best episodes of Season 2 are really just Crosshair having to go through what he's going through in the Empire and truly realizing, like, they don't got his best interest or any of the clones' best interest at heart. They are literally using them as scraps. You know what I mean? Like, literally. And the Outpost is the perfect episode to kind of go back to that. And then you got the whole episode with Palpatine talking about destroying Tapoka City, and he's just like, yeah, screw the clones. You know what I mean? Like, dude, they are being savage to these dudes at the end of Season 2, and I feel like that whole world building, and of course losing Tech at the end of it really sets the stakes up. And of course, with what we saw at the end of Season 2 with Mount Tantus, it is about to get crazy, and I think we might even see Mount Tantus tonight in the first couple of episodes. I'll get into a few more chat questions and things real quick before we dive into some of what the executive producers were talking about before this final season. So if you guys have any last thoughts or questions, make sure to throw it in the chat, and we'll try to get to all of them by the end as well. Let's see. Star Wars Explained did a great interview with Brad Rao and Jennifer, by the way. That's awesome. I gotta go check that out potentially. I get up every day around 5 a.m. I'll just get up early and watch, says RF Gaming. All right, that's fair too. That's fair too. You get up at like 4 a.m. and try to grind them all out. You know what I mean? That's wild though, dude. Good luck to you. I feel it. The Star Wars love is real in the streets. Real quick, Mike The mother flipping Bad Batch Porter says, when the Bad Batch drops in the East, it will be the second time this old man will get up to void the bladder. Might have to watch one episode then. I feel that, dude. I feel that. Haven't really been getting too much sleep with everything over here on these parts. So I feel that. Even if I wasn't streaming tonight, probably my third bladder bladder release would have been when I started them, you know. I'm dead. It looks like you got smacked by a wampa. I definitely did. I got smacked by a couple of wampas, that's for sure. All right, let's get into the Bad Batch hype and see what Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett were talking about over on StarWars.com, and let's enjoy ourselves here with some Bad Batch speculation. Because if you haven't seen our other Bad Batch hype video when the trailer dropped a couple weeks ago, go check that out. It has a lot of our thoughts and theories and expectations for the season, or not even really expectations. It's just, hey, this might happen. And you know, Ventress was out there in that trailer, so it's like, this season might be real hype. Who knows exactly what we're gonna see? But I think we're going to start off tonight with some Bad Batch doing another, you know, a classical mission, or, you know, a mission maybe even with Rex and Echo and all of them. And from there, we might get a couple of glimpses of Mount Tantus and what's going on with probably the main character of the show, Omega, and Crosshair. You know, seeing what's going on with them. All right, let's dive into what Jennifer and Brad Rao had to say about the final season. The Star Wars The Bad Batch executive producers gearing up for one last mission. Oh, it makes me so sad. All right, y'all. Let's check out this article on StarWars.com. And it starts off by saying, it's not easy being the Bad Batch, and heck no, especially lately. But lately, it's been especially rough, as they say. Last year on the Star Wars Bad Batch in Season 2, our favorite clone squad lost its brother and science whiz, Tech. They were betrayed by a supposed ally, saw young Omega snatched by the Imperial mad scientist, Dr. Royce Hemlock. Such an evil, weird dude. And to borrow a phrase from Obi-Wan Kenobi, these were dark times. Indeed they were. So it says, when we first started the show, we had the hope that we could get 3 seasons to tell the story, says executive producer and head writer Jennifer Corbett. And I gotta say, when the show first started, I was like, dang, this is set up to be like a 3 to 5 season show, and I was hoping for like 5 back in the day. But hey, we still got the range right. Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more, but the amount of episodes that we get per season, it works out in the end, and I'm real happy to get at least 3 seasons of this show, and I think that this might be the best one. We kicked off season 1 with Order 66 and the team trying to figure out where they fit into the galaxy, and knew that season 2 was going to be a bit darker. Yeah, the further we go into the Empire, the darker times are gonna get. And now that we're in season 3, oh no. We all knew that the team was going to lose in some way, says Jen. As the season progressed, it became clear that the way for them to lose is essentially to have the team be fractured. Oh god, this is gonna be a rough season, y'all. It's gonna be so season. Oh man, that's what happens when we lose Tech. And also with Omega being taken by the Empire. These 2 story elements made for a shocking end to the critically acclaimed season, one that just won the Bad Batch the Saturn Award for Best Animated Series. Hell yeah, and well-deserving, and the show doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. I freaking love the Bad Batch, and I think as a full 3-season show, we're going to look back extremely fondly in similar light to the way that we do with Rebels and Clone Wars. Star Wars animation is just, it's top tier. It's elite. And I hope that we get some more Star Wars animated projects in the future. I know that we're getting Tales of the Jedi with season 2 here, and season 1 was an absolute masterpiece of 6, 15, 20-minute episodes or whatever it was. But dude, the more Star Wars animation, the better, in my opinion, even if it's a little bit less popular than some of the live action stuff. Those of us that absolutely love Star Wars and love these animated projects, you know what I'm talking about, man. And we eat this stuff up. We eat it up. All right. It says that the death of Tech was a particularly raw moment indeed. It kind of took a lot of us by surprise. And following the raid of an Imperial stronghold, which earned the Bad Batch The ire of Grand Moff Tarkin, the clone sacrificed himself to save his brothers. Behind the scenes, Lucasfilm took the sequence and the decision to kill off Tech very seriously. Yeah, as I'm sure the decision for what this season's going to unfold into, they probably took very seriously too. There were a lot of conversations that went into that, and we even tried to talk ourselves out of it many times because he's such an important character to the show. And to the crew too. I mean, they're probably going to say it here, even it says to all of us in the crew, we know how important he is to the fans, Corbett says. So 100%, and I think that might even be, them talking about the Bad Batch losing and talking about how Tech is such an important character. Like, I think that's even an understatement, man. Tech's smarts and his ability to help the crew and just go into situations with almost a battle tactic and a plan. Like, they're all capable of doing it, but Tech was on almost another level. You know what I mean? So it's like, from that aspect, I am really worried about the team, other than the fact that they lost Omega 2. It's like they lost their smartest dude for sure and one of their best tacticians, and it's like I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared going forward, as you guys know. It's worrying. All right, it continues to say, what we're showing in Season 2 is that the galaxy has changed and the Empire is now very powerful in the early years. So we're trying to be logical in that sense, and the Bad Batch keep putting themselves in these positions, and ultimately there has to be a time when they do lose. Dave Filoni, the series creator and executive producer, agreed, and Jen even said that Dave said, even when we were pitching the ideas to him leading it up to the finale, he said, if you're going to have them go against Tarkin, Tarkin's smart. Tarkin will be able to pull one over on him. And as he should, Jen said. And again, to show the balance has changed in the galaxy, and it really, really has at this point. The story of the Bad Batch is not over. Season 3 kicks off tonight with a 3-episode premiere and finds the team scattered in the wake of this fallout. Omega and Crosshair are now prisoners as Echo has joined up with Rex, leaving only Hunter and Wrecker on the Bad Batch. And with the crew, it's really just the two of them at this point. Throughout, they'll feel as if they lost their brother. It affected a lot of the logistics. Of course it did, Brad Rao said. Of course it did, though. And with the logistic guy being Tech, it makes a lot of sense. The very mathematical logistics of how we normally would have the team operate was massively different without Tech there. But emotionally, the most important part, the way that we lost Tech, or the way that and the loss of Tech affected Omega, Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo, as well as Crosshair, and even throughout the whole series was, I wouldn't even say heavier than we expected, but was definitely very, very heavy. Whew. Hell, even hearing that brings me back to some of the early Clone Wars days with the original Echo Squad, Domino Squad that Echo was a part of back in the day. In the early parts of the Clone Wars, there's a member of that squad named Heavy, and that all of that is weighing extremely heavy on my heart right now. It's sort of like a reset for the squad, said Jennifer Corbett, because when you first meet them, they're in the very first episode of the series. They're a unit, they have 0 fail rate, and they are very successful. But then Crosshair sides with the Empire, Echo leaves to go with Rex, now Tech is gone, Omega is taken, Clone Force 99 is not at all what it once was. And the question is, will it ever be the same? Hunter and Wrecker are forced to change the way that they do things in order to piece together what they can of the squad. First, the team's two polar opposites must come together. I don't know, man. I'm scared for this season. I'm so excited to dive into these episodes tonight and kind of see where the squad is, what Hunter and Wrecker are up to, if they're hanging out with Tech potentially and Rex, and what the plans are for getting Omega back. Because, I mean, it's going to be wild, dude. All right, let me see what y'all are saying in the chat real quick. Star Wars MCU OG, welcome in, my dude. I hope you're doing well. Skywalker's Academy, hello there. General Skywalker's Academy. Do you think that Hunter and Wrecker will get caught trooping around with the clone clubs? Maybe? I don't know. That's an interesting question. KG says, I'm going to have a bit of a hard time getting into Season 3 because of the loss of Tech. I hear you, KG, and it's good to see you in the chat, by the way. Dude, the loss of Tech was super, super impactful, and heavy on me and a lot of us from last season. So I don't blame you, but I think you got to stick through it and enjoy what you can of this season. I think there's going to be a lot of fun moments, definitely a lot of sad moments. I'm scared. Caleb Richardson says, I doubt D. Bradley Baker will stop appearing in Star Wars animation. He'll probably appear regularly in Tales of the Jedi episodes that take place during Clone Wars. Definitely could be. I kind of doubt it too. They love using D. He loves being a part of Star Wars and being all the voices of the clones. So we'll see. We'll definitely have to see. Leia Rose, welcome in. Chill. I bet you Tech isn't dead, says pulling a stigma. Hey, Rello. You might be right. I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, there is one of these, I guess you could say, StarWars.com articles or whatever you want to say, where they talk about Tech's fall, but they don't necessarily say he died. They just said that Tech fell, basically, or like, you know. And there is this one little clone, or like, I don't know if he's a clone, if he's a conscripted recruit, what he is exactly. But that clone dude is, a lot of people saying looks a lot like it could be Tech, and maybe the Empire found a way to pick up his body from the fall and I don't know, Darth Vader him a little bit. We'll have to see though, Rella. We'll have to see. It is definitely going to be heavy, KG. I agree with you for sure on that. I'm starting to think Tech is really dead now, says Saber Smith. I hope not. I mean, I don't know. I kind of hope he is, in a sense, because then the Empire won't be messing with him, but Hemlock might have something else to say about it, and I'm a little scared about that. Star Wars would title the article, Somehow Tech Return! That's amazing. Somehow, yes. Crosshair are... Alright, let's dive back into the article here. Crosshair, already the frostiest batcher... That's a funny way of putting it. Is emotionally and physically reeling from a string of bad choices. Indeed, he is, especially after seeing what happened to him in the Outpost last season. Leaving his brothers to serve the Empire, realizing his mistake, and killing a superior officer, and now undergoing the experiments and torture on Mount Tantiss. Omega, enthusiastic and good-natured, has been captured in an effort to force the Kaminoan Nalase to continue her cloning research for the Empire. While Crosshair and Omega are in similar situations, they could not be further apart in terms of outlook. Rao and Corbett found a this word might be a struggle for me, dichotomy to be creative to a creative drive for season 3. I love when the two of them are together, says Corbett. Ooh, I'm excited to see this dynamic of the two of them, because we got a glimpse of it last season at the end, but I feel like we definitely could see some more Crosshair and Omega, especially like back in that first season when Omega's basically telling him like, I know it's not your fault. It's like that was a really solid scene between the two of them, and now that Crosshair has kind of had his eyes opened to the evilness of the Empire, it'll be really interesting to see how Omega and him interact. So it says Crosshair is at the lowest point he's ever been, and Omega is as well. But she has a much more hopeful attitude, as she always does. And it's more like, we're going to get out of this. There's got to be a way. And he's sort of given up on any of it because he's coming to terms with all the stuff that he's done. All right, maybe I shouldn't even be getting this deep, because now I feel like we're almost like spoiling ourselves a little bit. But I mean, that is kind of the dynamic that we get from the two of them, and kind of the vibes you get from Crosshair and Omega, especially after Crosshair has done what he has done, and seeing Omega in just a brief glimpse of what she's having to deal with on Mount Tantiss. It makes a lot of sense for the two of them to be like that. It's not an easy thing for Crosshair to do, it says, as I think he's very human to be weighed down by the choices that you make. Yeah, it is very human for that. It says, but I'll say one of my favorite dynamics in Season 3 is the two of them together. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think tonight we might even get a few glimpses of what that's like as they have to deal with this sucker right here, Dr. Hemlock, and some of the stuff, like the evil, crazy, torturous, experimental stuff that he is doing. And maybe some of that stuff will even lead to what we see in the sequels with Palpatine. Somehow Palpatine return, you know. Of course, there could be a somehow Tech return too. And I think some of us would be down for that, although it would be tough to see if he's like, you know, all robotic and evil now. That would be real rough. But yeah, no, somehow Palpatine return could be set up here and explained a little more and that somehow might be Dr. Hemlock, and that'll be the explanation that we start to get a little bit more of, as well as what we see in The Mandalorian season 2 and 3. So both are being held by ambitious and ruthless Dr. Hemlock. He's a unique villain for Star Wars, not physically imposing, not military-minded, and with no powers of any kind. But Hemlock represents the Empire's willingness to take and twist the galaxy and do whatever Dark desires in order to achieve power. This time, from a scientific point of view, the clones aren't just expendable, but now they're a test, or they're test subjects, I guess you could say. It's always a challenge coming up with a Star Wars villain because there have been so many great ones, says Corbett. I think when we knew that Mount Tantus was going to be a major setup for the show at the end of season 2 and going into season 3, the evolution of the character was obviously a doctor who's willing to do the Empire's bidding, but who has kind of a dark past. Interesting. So he was who was rejected from the Republic because of the things that he was doing, and now he's working in a top secret facility for the Empire. That's pretty wild. So he's pretty much has this carte blanche to do whatever he wants, and a lot of people in the Empire know about it. But it says as long as he's able to achieve the Emperor's ultimate goal and give us a lot of room to play with, what would this guy be like? Says Corbett. For her though, Hemlock has emerged as the best kind of baddie and one that you love to hate. Yeah, I already hate this dude. I know a lot of you guys do in the chat too. I don't like this dude. What time will the first 3 episodes be coming out today, says Baby Yoda. Well, it won't technically be today. It'll technically be tomorrow. It is coming out in about just under 12 hours, close to a little over 11. So it is coming out later tonight around 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Time, or whatever it is now. And then 3 a.m. Eastern. I believe that would be... What time is that in Europe? That's a good question. I want to say it's like 7 or 8, but I might be wrong. So don't take me for sure on that. might even be close to 9 o'clock in Europe. I forget. 2 Central? Yeah, 2 a.m. Central is when the episodes will be releasing as well. But yeah, Dr. Hemlock is the worst, man. Didn't Socrates drink Hemlock? He might have. Hemlock is its own poison indeed, says Smalls. I agree. It definitely is. And we get another little shot of him there. So he's into creating, but his version of creating is very different from the Kaminoan's version of creating. He has a plethora of clones to experiment on to his heart's content, and he doesn't have any qualms about that. Heck no, he doesn't. He's a weirdo. It says he's voiced by Jimmy Simpson, who is just incredible and gives him a layer of eeriness. I'm always very unsettled whenever I watch an episode with him. Me too, dude. Hemlock is... Heck nah, man. I don't like this guy. You never really know what the character's thinking or what the character is willing to do, and I think that's why he's so interesting. Definitely adds a layer of intrigue to him, and definitely a layer of, like, unsettlingness and like, screw this dude, you know what I mean? He's definitely not a battle strategist, but because he studied clones, he knows how they think, he knows how they operate, so he does have one thing on them in that sense. But the hardest thing for the batch is that they have no idea where he is, at least to start this season. We'll see as it unfolds, if the batch start to figure out little bits of information and things that kind of continue to pop out. But I'm definitely excited to see where his story takes the clones and the cloning process for the Empire. I think it's going to be really, really big to the larger story of Star Wars. I heard someone, I don't know if it came from Lucasfilm, but recently somebody said that the Bad Batch Season 3's finale is kind of going to be the end of the George Lucas Star Wars era, in a sense, or like the projects that he helped, I guess, propel. Leading into the Lucasfilm era under Disney. So in that sense, this final season of the Bad Batch has an even bigger impact to George Lucas's legacy, to the legacy of Star Wars in general, and to everything going on with the clones and Palpatine, the Empire. It's just this season is going to be really big to the state of Star Wars and huge for the world building, I think. And hopefully there's even more to come as a outlet from this, I guess, or, spinning off from this. I would love to see more of these animated projects, man. They're so dang good. Smalls, I'm dead. Leia Rose says, Rey Palpatine Skywalker lives forever. Indeed. All right, continuing with the article, it says, at Hemlock's side is the mysterious Dr. Emery Carr, who I always forget about. Like, that her little scene at the end of season 2 is so brief. And as it says here, she was introduced in the very last moments of season 2 as Omega's long-lost clone sister. Yeah, she doesn't just have a brother named Boba Fett, but now she has a sister named Dr. Emery Carr? What in the cloning? Her existence raises so many questions, including what her intentions may be. We're going to see a lot more of her, says Brad Rao, as Keisha Castle Hughes is such an incredible actor, and her performance and the way she interpreted Emery affected how she was written. It was really cool to see, and I don't want to give anything away, but her arc was one of the more unusual ones, and the trajectory, I'll just say, to be cryptic, he said, was different than we might have expected. Interesting. I'm super intrigued with her character now, especially after reading that. Like I said, I keep forgetting she exists at times. I'm like, oh yeah, she's Omega's sister. She was barely brought into the end of the show. But dude, yeah, no, it's gonna be really interesting to see what Emery Carr is doing, if she's like actually like at the side of Hemlock, or if she feels a certain type of way about the other clones being treated the way they are, knowing that she is kind of a clone of Jango Fett, it seems, as well. I think even though she's Omega's sister, they're very different because of how they were raised. Both, again, in another commentary or on clones and how the clones were treated during the Republic versus how the clones are being treated now that they're in the Empire, says Corvette. Okay, so that sort of answers a little bit of my question on how she feels about it. But she and Omega have a very interesting dynamic that evolves over the season, and I cannot wait to see how that ends up unfolding. Nathaniel Williams in the chat, welcome in. He says, thoughts on the changing Ventress from the comics, or do you think it's a flashback? No, so it's not a change from the comics or anything. There's actually a novel called Dark Disciples that is about Ventress and her love interest in the story, which is Quinlan Vos, a survivor of Order 66, another fellow Jedi, I guess you could say. And they didn't really change it. So I want to make this very specific and clear. And Nathaniel Williams, much love to you, my dude, and thank you for throwing this into the chat. So it's not a change. And if you've read Dark Disciple, which I haven't even read it all, but the way that they leave Ventress' story is that she was presumed dead by Quinlan Vos as he leaves her in a pool of magical, magic with a K, magical Night Sister water, I guess you could say. So it's like this little, hot tub of magic water that the Night Sisters use. And if you remember the Night Sisters from Clone Wars, now Ahsoka, a lot of the other Star Wars projects, they're pretty wild, dude. A lot of their stuff involves reviving people from the dead and all sorts of fun magical stuff, like Darth Maul getting legs again. There's a lot of fun stuff that comes with the magic of the Night Sisters. So in that sense, knowing that Ventress's dead body was left in a pool of magic water, it's like, yeah, she definitely probably is still back. Like, it makes sense for her to still be alive post Order 66, which is when this show is taking place. And again, Dark Disciple actually takes place pre-Order 66. So her return in this show definitely is not necessarily a change, but maybe more of a continuation of what they did in the Dark Disciple novels. And that really excites me. Brad Rao, one of the executive producers who's actually talking about the show in this article, he recently said that it would be, there's some potential future stories coming with Ventress other than maybe just the show too. So just want to put it out there. And again, shout out my boy Timothy. The two of us have had a discussion probably within the last 3 to 4 weeks with the release of the trailer and seeing that Ventress was returning. And it's like, dude, they wouldn't just make this character model solely for this show, man. Like, let's really think about it. Back in Clone Wars Season 7, they added so many little, I guess you could say, character models, like one of young Caleb Doom, of course, bringing in the Bad Batch, all these different stuff, and look what they ended up doing with it. They didn't just make those character models for a one and done kind of thing to show Caleb Doom briefly in Season 7 of Clone Wars. No, they brought him back for the Bad Batch in the first episode, and they continue to bring a lot of those character models back. And heck, one of the character models that they even had at the end of Season 7 was a brief glimpse of Darth Vader. So maybe they won't even be done using Darth Vader in animation, which has me scared, but also hyped for the end of the season. And Ventress model being brought in for this show, or for this final season of the Bad Batch, I almost doubt that it's a one and done thing. And with her story continuing, Dave Filoni has always loved the Ventress character. A lot of us really love the Ventress character, and with her story in Dark Disciple kind of almost redeeming herself, or becoming a new version of the Sith apprentice that she once was, now more of a still having that former Jedi within her, and having that love interest of the former Jedi Quinlan Vos too. It's super interesting to see how Ventress's story could continue now that she's potentially back. And I think the perfect way for them to kind of continue going into that, and to my boy Tim's hella good theory, is that they could end up doing season 2 of Tales of the Jedi with Ventress as one of the main characters, getting potentially 3 episodes of her own. And that would make a lot of sense. I mean, think about the first season of Tales of the Jedi. It was 2 former Jedi that ended up leaving the Order at certain points. Count Dooku left the Order to become a Sith. However, Ahsoka left the Order to kind of, more because of the Order's flaws and faults for sure. But then you get Ventress, and Ventress would be a perfect addition to those characters, being a former Jedi herself, a once Padawan whose master was killed, and then brought in by Count Dooku to become a Sith apprentice and assassin. Like, that's a perfect character to continue the Tales of the Jedi story, and having her character potentially live from Dark Disciple, be in the Bad Batch, and potentially have further stories in down the road, or stories from her past that we could even tap into in Tales of the Jedi. That would be amazing, and I would freaking love it. All right, real quick, I'll get back into what y'all are saying in the chat real quick. The Night Sisters Fountain of Youth. Indeed, the Stanleys. Indeed. Nathaniel Williams says, Ahsoka was okay for me. The Clone Wars flashbacks with Anakin were good, but maybe Ahsoka Season 2 with more of that, and I wonder how they're going to deal with the father, daughter, and son. Yeah, no, I am hyped to see what they do with those characters, and with, I guess you could say, the Mortis Gods continuation, and kind of the setup that they left us in at the end of Season 1 of Ahsoka. I am hyped for it, man. I really enjoyed the hell out of Season 1 of Ahsoka. I think it's going to be a multiple season show that ends up being one that changes the course of Star Wars for a long time, and just the stuff that Dave Filoni is setting up. I am hyped for it. I cannot wait. The Tales of the Bounty Hunter Ventress. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Alright, let's get back into this article and try to finish it up here. I think even though Emery Carr is Omega's sister, they're very different because of how they were both raised. I think we maybe even read this. Yeah, they definitely have an interesting dynamic that evolves throughout the season, though. So to finish up this article, it says, with their work on the series done and the final episodes on their way to being released, it's an emotional time for Rao and Corbett. Season 3 of The Bad Batch is the end of the years-long journey that started May 4th, 2021. And now, over 3.5 years later, over 3.5 years later, the premiere of the series, with that premiere of the series, it's so bittersweet. It's been such a great show, but one thing that's really positive is going into the season. We knew very early on that this would be the final season. it's a blessing that we can, and a rare thing in their field, knowing that they can finally finish the show and wrap up all the loose ends and things that they were able to set up the way that they want and the way that the story that they felt the story deserved. The way that the characters should have it. Yeah, and if you think back to the Clone Wars, it was canceled multiple times, and like stuff with the animated shows happens like that a lot. So it is very, very positive in its own way that the show is getting its finale and end in its own right and in a way that the story deserves. But like they said, it's bittersweet in a word, because it's been an honor to be able to tell this story and tell it in a fitting way. And to have worked with the team that they did with and on the show, and be proud of what they've all done and accomplished. So Jennifer Corbett says, we're so excited for the fans to see what we have in store. I cannot freaking wait, man. This is going to be a hell of a season, even if it's depressing, even if it wrecks all of our hearts. It's going to be a freaking good time, and I genuinely cannot wait, Lair. It is going to be a fun night of 3 episodes of The Bad Batch, and then of course there's going to be 15 episodes throughout the season, ending on May 1st, the way that it's all set up, which means that we could even get a little surprise something on May 4th still. Who knows? We'll have to see. But I am super hyped for what we could see, for Mount Tantus to kind of get a little bit more explanation, to see what's up with Omega and Crosshair, what's up with the Bad Batch, and what's going to happen with the clones, because I think that might be finally answered. A lot of the show, I've been speculating since Season 1 and into Season 2 that there could be a clone uprising that kind of ends a lot of the clones that we know and see around the galaxy. And heck, throughout Season 2, one of the biggest things that we see is the clones really being phased out. You know, back in Season 1, they were starting to bring in conscripted recruits. We still see a whole lot of clones, and then the further we get into Season 2, we see more of these TK troopers, or more of these troopers that aren't clones, and less of the clones as the shows go on. And like, the only clones we really see are the commando dudes that are hanging with Hemlock over on Mount Tantus, and other than that, it's like, we really haven't seen too many clones in the last couple of episodes of Season 2, and even in some of the trailers of Season 3. Even the ones we have seen are usually the ones that are fighting against the Empire. So maybe we will finally get that clone rebellion or uprising in this final season. And if they send Darth Vader to kill them all, I'm going to be so depressed, man. That's going to be terrible. Please don't do it. I'm so excited though, y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the chat about what Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao had to say about Season 3. If you guys are excited for it. Hopefully we didn't end up spoiling too much of the show, which I don't think we really did. Of course, like that's from the executive producers themselves, and it's kind of a lot of surface level stuff that I think a lot of us could have expected or guessed, including like in terms of the dynamic between Crosshair and Omega, and the two of them being on Tantus and everything, and maybe even some of the Emery Carr stuff. It's going to be really interesting to see how a lot of it unfolds, and I am excited, man. I am excited. Have you seen the new clip of the Bad Batch? I haven't seen it yet. Brandon Tran. I was thinking about watching it on the channel, and I saw like maybe 5-10 seconds of it, and then I was like, no, and I threw my phone across the room. I was like, can't do it. We got 3 episodes coming tonight. Heck, that little tease might even be in the first 3 episodes, so it's like, I'll see it later, and I'll experience it with you guys, and I'm looking freaking forward to it. I'm sure there are 16 episodes. They just can't reveal the last title. The way that I could pull it up. There is 15 at the moment. And it's not that they're just hiding the last title from us. Otherwise, there would be a 16th and a release date for it. Currently, there's 15, which is definitely different than the other seasons. If I remember correctly, they each had 16, if I remember correctly. But yeah, at the moment, there's only 15 and release date for 15 of the episodes. Maybe we'll get a double up on the finale, and that'll be the 16th episode. That would be a fun almost Star Wars Day surprise, right, on May 1st. That would be real fun. Hopefully there are 16, though, and we'll see. Dual episode finale, or like an hour-long finale. That would be very fitting, knowing that they started the show with an hour-long first episode to season 1, or like an hour and 15-minute one, and it was epic, dude. It was so dang good. And here tonight we're even getting 3 episodes, which is like an hour and a half. They're doubling up a couple of episodes throughout the season, whether it's the mid-season finale in episodes 7 and 8, which I love when they do that. It's going to be a fun time mid-season. I cannot wait. Let's see what else y'all are saying. I think they're going to send Vader, says Smalls. No, don't do it. I mean, we've been speculating that they could be doing that since like season 1, when we didn't know it was going to be a multiple season show for sure or not. And knowing that this is the final season, I definitely think that we might be getting that clone uprising. And if Vader's sent to take care of it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it, man. He's going to be like peak Vader kind of moments where the most angry we've probably seen him. And that hallway scene is going to be nothing compared to what he does to these clones. And hell no, man. Please don't do it. Saber Smith in the chat says Hunter and Wrecker need to hash some things out. Indeed they do. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of that in the first episode as they kind of figure out where to go from here now that they've lost Tech. Omega's gone. Crosshair is still with the Empire. They definitely got some stuff to hash out, and hopefully they can hit up my boy Echo and go from there. But like I said, man, I'm scared for what might happen to Echo. He's barely in any of the trailers. We know that he's off doing missions with Rex and a lot of the other their own little clone rebellion, if you will. So we'll have to see. All right, we're going to get out of here in the next like 10 minutes. So if you guys have any last questions or thoughts before tonight's season premiere, throw them in. All right, real quick too. Tonight we will be doing a watch party. I'll be doing my best to. And we're definitely not in the normal setup still by any means, and we'll see how things are looking at night with all of this lighting and everything. But I'm hyped to be watching this last season with you guys, from starting the channel with the show to and now ending the show together. It's been a hell of a journey through these last 2 seasons going into this final one. I cannot wait, y'all. It is about to be a blast tonight. We're probably going to start up around 11:30-ish, maybe a little bit sooner, 11:15, 11:30-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's like, what, 1:30 a.m. Central, 2:30 Eastern. So adjust accordingly. That'll be in about a little over 12 hours. Oh, sorry, a little under 12, a little over 11 hours at this point. So I will see you guys later tonight when we do that. And let's get into the chat real quick before we head on out of here. Nathaniel Williams says, honestly, for Bad Batch Season 1 and 2, it had a lot of filler for me and meaningless episodes. The hour long for Season 1, Episode 1 with Order 66 was great, but mostly filler. Hopefully Season 3 will be. There's times where it's sort of fillery, but I have a thing with filler in Star Wars that there's not really such a thing. Every episode has its own purpose, whether it's progression of the characters, the dynamic between the characters, or world building. And I think if you go back and watch seasons 1 and 2, you might have a little bit more perspective maybe even after finishing season 3, of just how significant some of the more insignificant episodes actually turned out to be. Because a lot of time with Star Wars, it turns out that way, dude. If you go back and watch Rebels season 1 all the way to season 4, there's episodes that totally felt like filler. Like, oh, this space whale episode is so dumb and useless. Like, who needed that episode? Oh, it's important. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, man. I don't really believe in filler in Star Wars. I think that they take the time to tell the story that they need to. And even with some of the fillery episodes in season 2, they really were more either world building, like I said, dynamics between Omega and some of the other Bad Batch members, especially Tech. And that's the thing that I definitely noticed watching back season 2, is that, Tech really gets his moment and time to shine in some of the more fillery episodes, and it adds that bond to us, to the Bad Batch, and makes it that much more impactful when he dies at the end of the season. You know what I mean? So in that aspect, all filler, no killer. Yeah, definitely significant. I agree. I'm excited. Gotta teach. So you guys, see you guys later. Hey, I'll see you later, Sabersmith. I hope the rest of your day goes well. Thanks for hopping into the stream, and much love, much love. Vader's Lair, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 PT watch party. Let's go pre-show. Yes, sir. And we'll definitely be watching it together and sharing our thoughts afterwards, and probably trying to recover from what kind of, hour and a half long episodes that, all together between the three of them. We're probably going to be trying to recover through a lot of it, man. We'll see what they what kind of stuff they end up throwing at us. I will say there's been some early screenings and different episodes released to some of the big Star Wars channels and people out there, and just some of the early reviewers, whatever you want to say. People have seen the first 6, 7, maybe 8 episodes, I think, the first half of the season. I don't really know exactly how much, but there's definitely been some episodes revealed. And so far, a lot of the people that have seen them have said that this season is hitting, and it's going to kick and probably be real emotional. I haven't read too much into some of the stuff that they said about the season, but it sounds like this one might be the best of the three, and deservingly and expectedly so, with 2 seasons of context and more impact to kind of add to this final 3rd season and world building leading up to it. It's gonna be a ride, y'all. And so strap in, make sure you guys are ready, because your boy Sheiv is. I'm ready for it. Emotionally, I don't know if I am, but I'm ready. Nerds of Hell's Kitchen, welcome in. Comes out at 8 Eastern. No, unfortunately not. It comes out at 3 a.m. Eastern. I'm so sorry. I don't know why they do this with the animated shows only. Ahsoka was released at 6 o'clock, right? Loki was released early. I remember watching the Loki finale, and then it was the same night as the Marvels came out in theaters. So I literally was able to watch Loki at a reasonable hour, and then go to the movie theater to go watch the Marvels. And it's why are we only doing this for the animated shows still? Just release it at a reasonable hour. Why midnight? Come on, man. We're ruining our sleep schedules for those of us that love the animated stuff. It's not fair. Yeah, dang it is right, Nerds of Hell's Kitchen. You and me both. Hey, Jedi Mike, much love, my dude. Much love. 8 episodes pre-screened, says Skywalker's Academy. May the Force be with you all. See you in 11 hours. See you then, Skywalker's Academy. Much love to everybody in the chat. For those of you guys that can't stay up super late with us tonight, I apologize. Hopefully you can catch the first episode alongside us. Make sure to stay tuned and watch the replay of our live stream tomorrow. If you don't catch it, make sure to come back to see our thoughts of season 3, episodes 1, 2, and 3. We're dropping tonight. I know it'll be a little bit unreasonable hours for a lot of you guys in the middle of the week. So hopefully I see all of you there. But if I don't, much love. Enjoy the rest of your day and week. I'll try to do some more streams throughout the week talking about it, and hopefully we can get some more content going. I got a little bit of free time on my hands. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. My hand is still getting used to moving. But your boy is slowly coming back. I'm excited to see what this Bad Batch season really brings. I'm excited to be hanging out with you guys and talking more about it. And I'm excited to be hanging with our boys of the Clone Force 99. I'll see y'all later around 11:30 Pacific time in about 11 hours. Much love to everybody. Make sure to have a fantastic rest of your day. And may the Force be with you guys always. Peace.